And welcome to day 7 of Computing, Introduction to Computers, Fundamentals of Computing. Forgot to put the title there. Emphasizing, of course, that part. And we're going to have some fun today. Going to review a little bit of what we did in Microsoft Word and then go on, have you finish that project at the end of the chapter and maybe even get out early. So let's see what we have going here. I'll remove the administrator prompt. This is all DOS stuff we're doing in our advanced class. Exciting things at the command line, but I don't want to get you too excited there. We'll go into Word and, well, let's go bring up the eLearn page to see what we have to do here. Remember, on the eLearn page, always check that assignments here. Let's see if I'm caught up here. We've got WD1, and there is WD1 Biblical. So it's a fairly easy project for you. Let's take a look at what that WD1 Biblical is all about. Unless is there any questions about the WD1 project? Oh, we have to finish. There's a few things to finish on that. I forgot. We hadn't done the border. So we'll finish that border up. So let me grab that. Let's see. We've got to get that one going here. There's the border left to do. I'll bring up the book online here. There's not, I think that's just about all we have left on that. Last thing we did, we brought in that picture, right? And we applied some effects to it. Alright, I'm bringing up the book. I'll pop it over to the screen. Here's where we were with the book. Where we had our picture in there, we had the adventure thing, paragraph above it. And remember I said you could apply any effects you want to your picture except for the boring no effect. There has to be some effect applied. Don't be boring. And where's my Word? My Word. Word 2016. I thought I had left it open, but apparently not. So I'm waiting for Word to wake up. Here it comes. Keeps asking me, do I want to make the default, even though I have. And there's my Manning WD1. I'm going to the recent. Remember, if you ever start it up again, it should remember your recent documents. And here's the effect I applied. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, Control, roll the mouse button. Looks like it's decently filling the page. I do have 2 pages though. Oh, a little bit of a problem here. It's filling over to the next page. We'll have to fix that. I might have, oh, this picture effect might have been a little, because of the shadow underneath mine, it made the picture a little too big. So I have to shrink my picture a little bit so that last line comes back to 1 page. Another thing I could do is adjust my margins so it has a little more space before it decides it needs a new page. So we've got that, brought in the picture, applied some effects to it, and they go over a few things you can do in your picture effects. Remember, we have to have the picture selected first. Then we can select the Format tab. Remember that tab doesn't show up unless the picture is selected. See, it goes away, select the picture, it comes up. I click on it, and there's lots more than just these canned effects. These are what I call canned effects. They're built in. You can choose any of them. But you have even more control. You can apply a bunch of other picture effects in all of these various styles. You can adjust your shadow independently, reflection, you can choose a type of reflection, the glow around the outside, soft edges. I kind of like soft edges sometimes. It makes it kind of fuzzy edges. And you can apply bevel, and then 3D rotation. The thing about this, if you apply one of these, say you like a particular rotation after applying a reflection, like that, if you decide, oh, let me go back to and apply one of these others, it throws away any of the custom things you've done. See how it throws away that 3D rotation I did? So if you want to apply your own, but start with one of these, be sure to apply this first, and then you can come back and say, oh, let's modify that a little bit myself. So you can customize it. Customizing it doesn't throw away what it did to start with to get you there. But I can customize it by, let's see, soft edges. I'm not sure how much that would do. Oh, look at that, soft edges didn't have any effect on that particular one. So remember, the picture effects are available here. A nice, decent list here of ideas, but you can do it completely on your own. Or you can start with this and then customize it on your picture effect. All right, so then the one thing we're doing here is enhancing the page a little bit. They want to adjust the page border, some spacing between paragraphs, and some margins. They're going to adjust some margins. So this is one that not a lot of people know how to do, and you will need to know this. To add a page border, simply go to your Design tab, and then there's a Page Borders option there. So I go to the Design tab right here, and here's Page Borders way over here. I could even apply a color to my page. I'm going to apply Page Border. That pops up the Page Border dialog, and they want you to add a large dotted line. Oh, here, the dotted line and wide page border, and then choose a color for it. Green to go with outdoorsy. I didn't choose that. Click. There. And then I click OK, and there my border shows up. I'm going to let you decide if you want to do something fancier, such as an artsy border of any of these. Down here in art, there's a whole crazy list of borders. Some are really crazy, some are fairly conservative, like dots. But you're welcome to choose any of those. Have fun with it. Choose something wild and crazy. It's an effect that, especially when you're doing a poster or something, that might come in handy. You will see the LED students know how to do this a lot. They like to decorate their pages. And while we're here, looking at the various artsy things you can do in Microsoft Word 2016, do you know of other packages that are even more powerful that the professional editors use out there? We have some professional editors here at Emmaus that use products much more powerful than Word, even though it's gotten pretty powerful. Have any of you used any, heard of Adobe products?
Yeah, like Adobe Reader.
Yeah, Adobe Reader, that's the basic thing, but Adobe Photoshop, that's very popular. But one that's very popular, and if you like editing documents, you can actually make a lot of money being a good document editor if you know a product called Adobe InDesign. Adobe InDesign is like the industrial standard if you want to do good document setup, layout, the newspapers, magazines. If you like that kind of thing, you can make good money by being good at Adobe InDesign. And you can even make money just knowing Adobe InDesign and training others how to use it. It's a very powerful program, and any graphics design courses, that's one of the first things they'll learn is Adobe InDesign. So we've applied a border now. Remember how you get there, because you're going to have to remember this perhaps on a quiz sometime, or a midterm or final, how to put on borders. It's over in your Design tab. Okay, we've got the border applied now. Go ahead and go wild and crazy with the border you choose. And then I think there's just a matter of adjusting a little bit of some paragraph spacing. They want a little bit of more space between the top paragraph and the picture. and then the picture in the next paragraph, I believe. They're adjusting the spacing there. So in order to do that, though, we have to tell it, give me more space after this paragraph. In order to do it, I have to put my cursor in that paragraph, and then I go back to the Home tab, and under Paragraphs section, there is a before and after spacing hiding somewhere here. Where is that? There it is. Add space after paragraph. But remember, this applies to the paragraph my cursor is in. So always be sure you know what paragraph you're in, and then you can adjust your paragraph. See how that? Let's see. Add space after.
Wait, are we in the layout or you said home, right?
Yeah, I'm in the Home tab, and then under the paragraph section right here. And my cursor's in this paragraph, but I'm not seeing the effect.
Let's see, add space before paragraph. But I mean, it's kind of moving it now, so.
After paragraphs, or move it, or it looks like it already has a space. See how when you hover over it kind of shows you what it's going to do? So it looks like add space is already there. Let's see if I can put a before space on this one. I'm happy with the spacing now, but let's see if I can adjust it. I can add space before. And just by hovering over it, you see the effect. And it's just a tiny effect. For me, I'm not sure that's a big deal, but the point is they want you to know how to do that. Okay, and that's at this point, because it's a poster, you probably want to zoom way out to see what it would look like on the wall. You're welcome if you like, if you want to apply a page color to it, like a light green color. Thing with this, though, you're going to use a lot of if you ever apply a color to a page, remember you're depending on your printer to be very even. If you don't want to see streaks, you'd rather have colored paper than apply a color to the page, because very likely you'll see tiny flaws in your printer if you want your printer to apply a color. You usually don't, your eye doesn't catch it if it's just in little drawings, but when you apply a color, if there's at all any problem with printer toner or a little tiny mark on your fuser, it'll show up. Okay, before we're done with this thing, I want to show you one extra thing that the book doesn't teach you, but I find it very useful to know. See how remember how we did this adventure paragraph? We created a paragraph and then we applied a fill to the paragraph, which I think is a little bit awkward to do. But you can do it, and you can make the font big and do lots of things. But when I mentioned that an InDesign product, other programs or most people that do editing, especially for posters and things, you want to have more control of where things are on the page. You want to be able to grab this adventure line and be able to adjust its location independently of everything else on the page. I'm going to turn off paragraph markings just so that's not annoying me there. Here's how you can do even more flexibility in something that could look like this, but you have more flexibility with it. Watch what you can do. I can do an insert text box or word art. Let me do an insert word art. And I'm just going to insert something with, let's see, I'll make greenish text. And now I can type my text, and I'll just use, what should I say? Nature scenes. How about, yeah, nature. We love nature. And I'm going to Control A, Control Shift greater than to make it nice and big. And I can do the same thing I can do with paragraphs. I can adjust its fill to be that dark color. Actually, that's my shape fill. I can adjust my font to have a particular style. And I can adjust the size of that now. Oh, I guess I don't want to shrink that too much. The nice thing about text boxes or word art is I can rotate it around, adjust its position. And something I can do here in the layout options, I can have it, looks like it's already set to be in front of text. I can have it set to be a fixed position on the page, so it's completely independent of anything else on this page. I can drag this, adjust it, adjust the text size, completely independent of anything else on the page, and rotate it wherever, put it wherever I want. So go ahead and make a word art or text box and just put it there. You can put your name in there or just something silly, just to show that you know how to do something even better than filling in a paragraph that's stuck right here. I can't do really anything with this paragraph, but I can even apply, I believe I can even apply cool shape effects to that. I can give it some soft edges. A lot more flexibility. I can make a picture be its fill. I can fill the text box with any picture of my choice. If I browse to where my pictures are, I'll put a, let's see, in my little collection of pictures, I'll put a flower. There we go. I can make a flower as my fill for that. So much more flexibility than a paragraph that I can fill with color and adjust its font. So knowing how to do this, you can spiff up your little brochures, or even throw one into an illustration in one of your papers. And I don't care where you put it on the page. Just throw in a word art or text box, and then we're done with this one. So go ahead and save it. And I'm just going to do one last check to make sure I haven't missed anything. They adjust some spacing. I think that's it. And looks like we've covered everything. Zooming in, zooming out. Adjusting text. I think that's pretty obvious. You just put your cursor in to insert text. Moving text around, selecting it and dragging, dropping it. One thing, oh, here's one more thing to know. When you want to print it out to send it to your instructor, if they want it as a Word document, you're fine. You just save it as a Word document. But what if someone doesn't have Word on their PC, but they want to see your document? Here's the great thing you can do. You can actually do it two ways. You can do a save as, and in your save as type, you can select to save it as a PDF instead of a Word document. You could save it as a web page. Most likely you would save it as a PDF, because PDFs are pretty much compatible with every PC. Anyone can read a PDF, and if they can't, they can easily find software. Yeah?
When I open it up, it just goes back to like 2 pages. Will that just not appear when we're in like
Yeah.
in Word or whatever? It'll open up as one?
Yep.
Okay.
Now another thing you can do, instead of doing a save as, you could do a file print or Control P, and when you go to print, you can tell it, instead of sending it to a printer, you can tell it to send it to a PDF file or a print to file. I like to use this program called Foxit Pdf Printer. This lets me send it to PDF exactly as though it were going to a printer. But remember, we don't have to do that. We can just do a save as. Word lets us save it also as PDF. I can't guarantee that the PDF is completely readable by every computer, because PDFs sometimes can get fuzzy, but that's the most likely chance. If you use any other format of an editor in your save as, it's also enabled for open document text, and we're going to be learning about open document text, about OpenOffice That's the open document style. All right, so once it's saved, then you go back to the eLearn page for where the assignment is located, and underneath the assignment, just go to the upload section. Under the WD1 assignment has instructions, and you should see a submit button. Since I'm the teacher, I don't see a submit button. I see the grade your papers buttons. And when I go to view the assignment, I'll see what's been uploaded, and then what I do is then I click in there, open your file that you uploaded, and then you'll see a grade appear once I've done that. All right, let's go to the next assignment. I think you'll find it an easy one here. The next assignment I've asked you to do, rather than do an assignment in the back of the chapter that basically has you do a poster-like thing, and they give you the content of the poster, if you look at WD1 Biblical, what I would like you to do is just create some poster-like document with these elements in it, just like in that first assignment. Have a title, have some kind of image, and remember to apply a page border. And then you get to choose a particular scripture that's meaningful to you this week, or your favorite verse. The image should somehow go with a verse. Don't just put a picture of a cat and then a random verse. Try to have a picture that goes with your scripture. Unless, of course, your scripture is about cats, then you're allowed to have a picture of a cat. And do what you like with that document. At least upload it to eLearn. If you find it particularly inspiring, go ahead and post it. Something that you might post on your door. Encourage your friends in the hallway. And I am giving you this time to work on it, and I'm going to work on one myself here. Thinking about a verse, I'm going to go to BibleGateway.com and think of the verse. Forget what that verse is. Prepare your mind for action. It's Peter somewhere. Remember where that verse is? Something about prepare your mind for action. Yeah, that's it. 1 Peter 1:13. I like that verse, so I'm gonna first thing I'm gonna start with that verse and then put some comments around it. Maybe the be prepared texts. 1 Peter 1:13. Pick my translation. I'll go with the English Standard. Now, in the when I do a new document, I could get some ideas from. Let's see if they have any templates already. If I do a search for a new document, oh, look at that! They've got some posters already with some cool effects. Using someone else's design can be confusing because they may be doing things like page borders and things that you're not sure how they did, or they may use tables, but it does challenge you. Rather than do that, I'm just going to do a new blank one. How do I get back to my blank one? Let's go back home. There we go, blank document. Before I leave it, I'm going to save it as in my Documents folder. I'm going to save it as Manning WD1 Biblical. So last name WD1 Biblical should be the name of the file. I'm going to save it right away so I don't forget the right name. And then I'm going to use text boxes all over the place because they give me so much more flexibility. So I'm going to do a insert. Instead of a word art this time, I'm going to insert text box, and I'm going to draw the text box. And inside of it, I'm going to paste the scripture verse. And Control A to enlarge it. or to select it all, and then Control Shift greater than to enlarge it. And see how when I use a text box, it's completely held within that text box. I'm going to center it within that text box. And I'm going to apply a font to it. Let's see, a nice, exciting action font. That's not terribly readable. I want something a little more readable. I have extra fonts down here because I've loaded them from the internet. There's a lot of free fonts out there. That's kind of interesting. I'm going to shrink it down a little bit. Don't forget to put the reference in there. Let's see if I can right align that one line within that text box. There we go. I'll start with that, and then let's see, I need a title. I'm going to do word art for my title header. Oops, because I had it selected, it wanted to choose all that text. Let's try that again. Now, I'm not sure if it will automatically center my text box within the page. As I drag it, it will indicate when I'm at the center with a little line that pops up. So that's the only way it'll tell me where I'm centered. I don't think I can, if it's a random place on the page, centering doesn't center my text box, it centers the text within the text box. But I can drag it till I'm close, and then it'll say, oh, there you are, and it'll snap to the center. But I want it a little bigger, so I have to enlarge that text box. Holding down the Control key while I grab its corner keeps it, enlarges it centered around the location where it's at. Select all the text, and I'm going to enlarge the text a little bit more. Oh, it wants to wrap. I better enlarge my box. Now I have to find an image. You can put the image anywhere. You don't have to put it right under the title. It's your choice of where you place the image, below or above. And then don't forget to do a page border. So I have to come up with an image. I'm going to go to images.google.com, one of my favorite places to look for images. And because you never know what you're going to see, even when you do the most innocent search, I'm searching off screen. So I just put in the search for action, and I kind of like this image right here. To get the best quality image, I want to, especially on images.google.com, I'm going to click on the image, and then this is the image that I'm actually going to save. I can right click, copy image, or save the image if I want to use it later. I'm going to try the copy because I don't care about saving it. Then I'm going to come back to Word, and let's see if I put my cursor where I want the picture, down here, and paste, Control V. And now I can click on the picture and now adjust its formatting. I can center that picture and enlarge it. I'm going to adjust the margins on my page by going over to my, is it layout, margins, and I'm going to set it to have narrow margins. I'm going to center this. There. Let's see, I don't like that square border around that. I'm going to turn off the border on that text box. Let's see here, the line, shape, outline, I'm going to make no outline. There we go. But I might put a fill there. I'm thinking maybe filling the text background with something interesting, at least maybe a texture. But before I leave, I'm going to do the page border. Remember, the page border is design, page border, and I'm going to choose something that I think I saw a clock here. Is that a clock? I think those are clocks. It would make me think of clocks. I'm not sure those are clocks, but they're cool looking. I'm going to zoom out to see if it's a decent looking poster. Oh, look at that. I messed up my prepare for action. I better move that down so it doesn't get tromped on by the border. Oh, and look at that. My text box is cutting off my picture. I can adjust his position, and I'll show you how to do that. First, I got to move this prepare for action guy down. There we go. Move him down. To adjust the positions of things, you can use your arrow keys, up, down, left, right, to give you fine adjustment on any object on your page. Now, to fix this from tromping over the picture, what I'm going to do is, in its, let's see, would it be in its layout or format? I think it's in the format. In position, I'm going to, oh, not position, there it is. I'm going to, in the send backward, I'm going to send that text to back. Oh, didn't work. Let me try this. Let me bring that one forward. Oh, it won't let me bring that forward. That's interesting. Let's see if I can maybe set the wrapping to be in front of text. There we go. So I was wanting to bring it forward, but I can select its wrapping options or layout options of that picture. And now it can kind of be a little closer to the text without being blocked by the white text box. Another thing I could have done is in this text box, set its fill to be transparent. Then, no matter where it is, it won't be wiping out the picture. All right, as soon as you have a poster like that, remember to have the, always before you upload it or save it, I'm going to save it, and before you upload it, check that you've followed the requirements of the assignment. By looking back, is it over here? Where did it go? There. Check the assignment. Let's see, I've got a title, image with additional formatting, border. Oh, I forgot to add additional formatting to my image. So this image, let me just apply a design to it. Or sorry, a format. Something interesting for the picture. Oh, I like that one. There. Okay, title, image formatting, border, a scripture reference, and I am done.
Do we have to find the reference for a picture?
No.
Okay, just
At least a scripture that has some reference. You're welcome to put a reference, more references if you like, or if even the picture has something in it. But something like that, fairly simple, just a main title, some encouraging words, a scripture to go along with it. Without the picture, it wouldn't be nearly as interesting. Having some picture there gets the attention and helps your memory of that particular verse. The border, I'm not sure that border's all that great. It's a little bit distracting, but I'm going to go with it. And once you have that inspiring poster, you can can save that and upload it and have a great day.